All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our live session from Investing with the Difference. It has been, I think, a long time since we do live sessions, but I thought that there are a lot of things which we may want to discuss, and I was not able to find any time to do a video, so I thought it will be good to do a live session. Potentially, some of you may be able to catch us live, and you will be able to discuss any questions. So first of all, thank you for all the messages and so on, and some of you who met us in the DC event and during the EC event and around it. As you can see, my voice, if you have been watching my video, my voice is kind of completely gone after the 3 days of so much talking and a lot of social events. And I'm not able to right now uh, speak as much as I would love to. But let's see how long I can keep going. So first of all, I think many of you are some disappointed. Some of you are very excited about what happened. So let me start sharing my views. So I think voice, there is enough discussion already happened. So in short, I will say it's a great initiative. I don't see this as a huge thing from the perspective of whether it will disrupt today's social media. Maybe not, because of course it's a new social media. There's a network effect which you need to create. What is new is this is going to be a game changer as we see more people adopt it because of the way it is designed. I think it's a brand new product, so don't expect huge things. As I have been reminding you for a very long time, that it's not like B1 is still a startup. Block.one is not somebody who can uh, bring you some really huge new products without going through iterations. So voice is a great start. Now, of course, I like the product. I think a lot of great things. I have signed up for beta. If you have not, just go to voice.com, enter your details. A lot of people are, I think, concerned about the identity, because Block.one has confirmed that there will be a KYC. That means that you need to provide your identity as either a government ID. I think that's what everybody believes it's going to be, and you have to prove who you are. Now, we have been working with so many dApps, and we know that this is a very big problem today on blockchain, not just social media. I think social media is one thing, but in general, trying to prove who you are on blockchain is very difficult. And this is going to be a huge thing, I think, for dApps, if not for social media itself, for other dApps to use this service. But I think, moreover, uh, the biggest problem which I think Dan has highlighted is how social media is run by bots, by marketers, and you're not really getting to hear real people's voice. I think that's what it's all about. Now, I think a lot of people have talked about it, so let me not go into those details. I think overall I like the design. It looks pretty much like a modern app. I think Steemit, even though it was great, it was adopted by quite a few people at one point, around 200,000 people, I hear, as the maximum at one point. But again, it never got that kind of adoption because of multiple reasons. Because, of course, it was just a blocking site. There was a lot of bots running, a lot of issues around. Like, if I tried it in like November, December 2017, I was pretty late to Steam it, and I couldn't find a way to really make myself heard or my voice heard. So I think this is, of course, looks like a pretty good product from that perspective. But again, it's a beta, because Block.one is still starting out on this. Let's say if they have spent 6 months or 1 year on this product, you can't build Facebook overnight. You can't build, even when Facebook came out, it was a very basic product. So I would say this is going to take time, and Block.one has confirmed that they are going to keep building on it after the beta and launch. Now, of course, the fun part is that you're going to earn on voice. I think all the EOS community, we should be thankful that if voice picks up, if we are the early adopters, we may be in the best position to earn the tokens. Again, I hear that a lot of people are concerned about whether it will be available in all the regions. Recently, I think on Telegram, Brandon and Dan have confirmed that they're trying to work best with all the authorities. My view is that they will definitely allow you to earn tokens. if you remember when EOS ICO came out, they said that you cannot buy in US or China, and there were a lot of other constraints. They even said that EOS token has zero value. So I won't go by what Block.one is speaking, because of course they have to be legally compliant. They cannot go and talk about oh, this is going to be a token which you can earn, it's a crypto we are announcing, because they are in US, and it's not the best place from regulatory perspective. But I think the game theory for how you uh, going to earn voice, and by, I think, as Dan has explained, it's going to be a pixel master kind of a game theory, where of course you will get voice tokens for creating content, but if you comment or share somebody else's content, you can actually get rewarded for if somebody else tries to spend more tokens and try to put his comment on top of you, and you get your tokens back in addition to some additional tokens. So that's a great idea. I think this is going to be very interesting how it evolves. By the way, if you are joining live streams, I see quite a few are watching. You can ask questions, what is in your mind on the chat. Feel free to put your comments. We will be able to answer those if you have any questions. So of course, sign up for beta. I think it's very exciting. Voice in itself, it's going to be a platform. I think a lot of apps will use it. I'm very excited. But what is really exciting for me from this B1June event, let me go to that. A lot of people are not understanding. I think I did a video that it's a very big deal that Coinbase now supports EOS. Now, as an investor, as the people who are working in EOS, what is the biggest thing we were concerned about? That we have a situation where what is the biggest disaster which can happen for EOS as an investor if SEC comes and says, you know what, EOS is a security. Now, this is something which B1 has been struggling with. It is something which all of us, when we are building on EOS, we are concerned about, even when we bring on investors. Now, Coinbase is a very, very careful kind of a exchange. They have been working with all the authorities. They have tried to be like, very, very easy interaction with all the banks, I think, in US. And that is because they follow all the regulations. And they came on the stage and said that EOS is verified by them. I think this is a huge thing. Moreover, earn program, you can go and earn if you EOS on Coinbase now. So this is for the new countries. So Coinbase is launching in 100 countries, and the reach of Coinbase is going to be in tens of millions of new users, which we are trying to bring to EOS. I think these two announcements are huge, which I don't know people are understanding this. Uh, and as we know that it got listed just a few days before the B1June, and Coinbase themselves coming on stage talking about EOS, promoting EOS. Remember, this is the first depose coin, as I understand, on Coinbase. So EOS is going to set the stage for depose. As we know that everybody is trying to go to proof of stake. There are a lot more projects coming in depose. And moreover, I think the biggest thing is that Coinbase is looking for like EOS to be learned by people by giving away this $10 worth of EOS. It will bring in a lot more people. And so again, of course, we can all talk about great apps and what can happen in adoption, but I would say bringing so many new users to EOS who will learn it, for me, this is a big win. And if this is something we should not ignore. Um, and then we can go, of course, go to the other technical aspects. As I said, you can let's talk about what is going on in terms of EOS itself. And remember, a lot of things have already been delivered by Block.one before the event. Even before the event, we had some really great updates in terms of EOS software NDKs. I discussed this earlier in my videos. Even the authenticator, that means the wallet which they've been working on, which is very easy to integrate. And I think that is very, very important, and that's very interesting that they kept on releasing these tools to the public. And already I'm seeing some of these tools are coming out using these tools, and very soon I'm sure all the mobile apps and so on will be able to use a kind of authenticator, just like we do with Google and Facebook. And when we're talking about authenticator, I think for me, because we work with dApps and so on, I think not a lot of people are understanding the support of Ubico, the YubiKey. It's huge because it's not like Ledger or something. Remember this: you don't need an additional apps and a lot of other steps when you use YubiKey. I don't know if you are aware of YubiKey. Go to the ubico.com and learn about it. People like everybody in Google, Facebook, and big companies, they are already using YubiKey, and these are like some of the great services we're talking about when it's about YubiKey, and all of them are already using it. It's huge. I think having a very easy onboarding, like where you just plug in this YubiKey into your computer and you will be able to sign transactions. This is huge. It already supports NFC, by the way. It's not just a YubiKey. So YubiKey 5, which we got, I think all of us who attended this event, we got a free YubiKey from EOS. And this YubiKey also has NFC. So that means you can touch it to your phone, which has NFC, and you can actually sign transactions on your mobile apps using this key. You can plug it into your computer and you can sign transactions. All these are a very very easy onboarding of people. And remember, when we talk about enterprise, and we are working very closely with enterprise solutions in EOS, I have talked to a lot of people under Block Start Initiative. We have so many companies coming in and looking for how do we easily integrate blockchain. And if I'm talking about EOS, I don't think any other um, blockchain today is anywhere close to implementing this kind of interaction, which is used by every company. Every enterprise in the world today is looking to use this solution. And also now that we have this WebAuth N, which is the going to be a global standard for every browser, that is going to be supported by EOS.io. These are huge things. I think these are very very big wins for EOS. If you don't understand the implication of it, I think you need to learn more about it. People are maybe underestimating Yubico, saying that, oh, this is just another hardware key, which we are already getting support from Ledger. No, this is not the case. These are industry standard for any other app. You're talking about logging into your Chrome browser, your Firefox browser. That is what these keys are used for. And if by default, if your EOS apps, which are going to run on your computer, on your phones, will have the support for YubiKey, that means people will not have to learn new things to use blockchain. People will not have to learn private public keys, wallets, and whatnot. We can directly build apps which will use the same thing which people use. And when I say people, they are used by in 160 countries across hundreds of millions of people are already using this YubiKey. Remember this. And already, who are the people who are driving this adoption? Is Google, Facebook, Microsoft. The biggest technology companies are driving this adoption. And when they look at blockchains which are compatible with the security standards, and if they see that EOS is the only blockchain which is ready with this, I think it's a no brainer how this will really take EOS forward. I don't understand why people miss these basic things when they are analyzing the updates coming out of this June 1st event. So this is huge in my eyes. Of course, a lot of people focused on voice, and I do see a question about what do you think voice will do to EOS token. I don't think voice is going to do much in short term to EOS token. Voice is a long game. Voice is a game about how you build a real world application which can change the way we interact. This is a vision. I think Block.one has a vision, and I appreciate this vision, and I hope they are successful. I am excited about voice, but I think when it's not, Block.one is a startup which has maybe 100 engineers. That's what they say, or maybe 150 engineers, because they are continuously hiring. They are, how old is a Block.one? Block.one is like 2 year old, and first year they spent building EOS. Even now they are building EOS. And you're talking about products. I never expected huge products, and this is already a great looking product from Block.one, with a kind of a small company we are looking at. Money cannot buy your innovation. You need people. And if you I give an example that Apple, which has been for last 10 years, it is a iPhone company, and everybody is asking what is next from Apple, and they have like hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in cash sitting in their banks. When we say that Block.one has this $4 billion, you cannot buy innovation from money. And I'm already seeing some great innovation in this voice app. So we should appreciate what is coming out. but don't expect huge things. It is a one step at a time. It can definitely change as more people come in, and as I think Brandon and Dan are been answering in the Telegram, it's definitely going to be big. The way they're definitely going to market it later on, but at this stage their focus is to launch it in beta, make sure everybody is going to be able to test it. They will fix some issues before they actually go and launch it. Remember, one question which everybody used to ask me, oh, why Block.one is not promoting EOS? I am glad they did not do this event before 1 year, because now EOS is ready for mainstream. I'm talking about these tools which are available, which are industry standard for any other app. Remember, blockchain should not be a blocker when you're developing new apps. You need to have a standard apps integrating it. You need to have Java, you need to based SDKs, you need to have authenticators. You don't want people to learn totally new tools, because they will say, why should I use blockchain? And that's why mass adoption is not happening, because now Block.one is focusing on all the right things by bringing exactly the tools we need to get this thing going, like in terms of apps. And trust me, because we are building apps, we are actually working with enterprise level apps. We talk to the people who are actually looking for blockchain to really change things. I'm not talking about casinos, I'm not talking about your standard apps which you see today. I'm talking about future apps which are really making a big difference on how blockchain will be used. I think that's where you need to really figure out whether it makes any sense for you to look at what is happening at the consumer level, because blockchain differentiation will happen at businesses level, where businesses will figure out how to integrate these apps into your actual use cases. So that's where I think this Ubico is important from the as an investor. I would say Coinbase Earn program, giving EOS in the hands of tens of millions of users, which are new, and uh, kind of a confirmation from the most stringent uh, kind of analysis of EOS being a security or not. I would say Coinbase listing. These are huge for EOS as an investor, and the kind of tools Block.one is developing. This is a huge thing for developers in EOS, and bringing new developers who are from these kind of companies who do who develop using latest and greatest web apps. This is the kind of people we need to interact with to make EOS great, not to bring some cool app. Of course voice is a cool app, but I'm saying do not expect too many things, because voice is still a new app and it will have to build that network effect. It will take maybe, in best case, I would say 1 to 2 years to even build a network where people use it and say start talking about it, that why it is great. Remember that in the browser space, Brave browser is a very similar attempt of avoiding, whatever we are talking about voice trying to achieve in social media space. Brave browser has been trying to achieve the same thing for browsers. And I think now, after quite a lot of time, it is getting to a place where people are very happy with it, and I see a lot of pickup in how Brave browser is being used. So voice, it's a long game, and as I think Brandon today said in Telegram, their focus is to do the right things, comply with all the regulations so that they don't get banned, and they are trying to bring every government, every user on board. And I think the biggest concern I see from the community is about providing KYC. I think my answer to that is, it it is if you don't want to give your KYC, then voice is not for you. It's not going to impact you anything. Nobody is asking you to, you can still use EOS. If you don't want to give your government ID, you can use EOS for any other app you want. It is just one of the apps. It is not the only app in the world in EOS. You will see thousands and thousands of apps already coming. So it's not for you. But on the other hand, I think Dan has already said you can always do KYC, but you can have anonymous names associated with it, and they are already confirmed that that is possible. And this KYC will remain with Block.one. They will not share with any other app. So all those things are already being answered. So I think, sorry again, as I said, my voice is not great because of all the 3 days of talking and everything, which uh, we had some amazing social events as well as meetings and partnerships, which we got to do in that. Some really amazing people coming from all over the world for this EOS event. Uh, okay, so I think I have talked enough about voice. Uh, But let me know if you have any questions. We can also discuss more about any other questions you have about what's going on. Now, let's have a quick look at the price. I think a lot of people are concerned about this drop. So I always bring out the daily chart pattern for Bitcoin because Bitcoin drives the pricing. So EOS is falling. Yes, it is relatively falling more, but it had also gone up pretty much more. So let's first look at the market itself. Market is looking weak because we had a huge run and I was waiting for this correction. I think this is maybe perhaps the first time we are having some serious correction. But even now, we are not dropping below $7,500, which is still a very very high point uh, as compared to where we started from. So it's not even a meaningful correction yet. I would still say if we drop all the way to the consolidation area of 2018, that is $6,000, I would say we still are above in a bull run. Uh, so even another $1,500 drop on Bitcoin will not scare me, and I will not declare it as a bull run is over. And on the other hand, the worst case scenario is we go touch the 200-day moving average, which is all the way down to $4,600. So we are way above the mean. When we say 200-day moving average, that's a long-term mean of Bitcoin price, and this latest surge is crazy. So I don't think the price itself justifies us to keep going up, and it's a very healthy correction. On EOS itself, I would say yes, it is. A lot of people are concerned and they are blaming the B1 event. Again, by the way, this is not a very long chart because it's taking the Coinbase chart now. So it's only a few days chart, but yes, we had a huge jump all the way to $9, and now we are struggling to stay above $6. So it's a big drop for EOS in dollars term. So it's a matter of, I think people were expecting uh, some really unreasonable things from EOS. But remember, I am very positive this because Coinbase listing means a lot of people will think, oh, I missed out on EOS, and I'm learning about EOS being a great blockchain. There is a good chance that a lot of people will find buying at these levels as attractive. So it's not a bad thing at all. That's what I would say. All right, so guys, now this is all I wanted to talk about. Let's have a quick look at Rex because I would like to see what is happening on the RAM because a lot of people were pretty excited about the RAM when Block.one bought it, and they also did a lot of like you know, there's nothing new which is coming in now because they are launching in beta. It's not something which is going to impact immediately. So let me see. The Brax pool has increased quite a lot, 92 million tokens now. Um, RAM trading is still going better than earlier. We have still seeing quite a huge amount of RAM trading. Even after it's coming down from those levels, we are seeing RAM fee in the $1,500 range, which is much more than the name fee, which was the major contributor in early days of Rex. So I think RAM is still hot. The APRs are going up in last 7 days, which is 1.8% APR, and last 24 hours 1.07. So not bad. I think definitely B1 has boosted the RAM, and we are seeing the Rex price continuously going up. So do Rex your tokens if you're not, because as the biggest thing as I told you, voice is providing us uh, like voice is running on EOS mainnet, and the Rex is like if they pay, like if they are going to have hundreds of thousands of users who are going to use these transactions, they are going to pay the Rex from voice app. That's what Block.one told us, and even the RAM. So I think RAM fee will come up, continuously going up. CPU and net will be needed. So all these things will add up to Rex. So that's good news for EOS token holders. Um, Now coming back to what else we are looking at, I think memory price. I think it was EOS IO. No, EOS RP. I think was the site which EOS New York had. Let me have a quick look if that's still up and running. I've not looked at RAM pricing for a very long time. So RAM price has come down after going to 0.15 when Block.one bought it. I think it's coming down again. People are the disappointment from the news and progress from Block.one, which people started speculating after Block.one bought the RAM. I think it is reflected in RAM prices, it looks like. So it looks like that it's not, people are not really excited. So speculators are going away again, or maybe some people are exiting who had bought this RAM at earlier for speculation, and they were stuck at much lower prices. So they have started selling. That's why I think it's going down again. But let's see how this rolls out. I think voice, it will be interesting. Okay, let me have a quick look at some questions. Sorry, I have not paid attention to the questions coming in. So let me have a look. Which government officials did Larimer and Bloomer meet in DC? Of course, I don't know about that. I do know that in the event, the Virginia state senator was there in the audience. So they are making good connections. Dan Larimer is talking to these kind of people. I saw him talking to those guys. So definitely they are making some good connections in White House and in the government officials like Virginia senator and so on. Then I'm talking about like, of they are not going to disclose how these discussions are going. My assumption is they are meeting people like who are responsible for regulatory policies and so on, so that and they're trying to teach them what is crypto and so on, and why this should be promoted. So, and they're hiring a lot of people in White House, so I'm sure this is something which they're looking at. Of course, I don't know whom they meet in the White House, but yes, I do know that there were quite a few government officials in the audience in B1June event. When is EOS IO VM being rolled out? I am not sure. There is no date given. As Dan had originally said, all these new things and the strategic roadmap which they talked about, that is going to happen over the summer and in next 6 to 12 months. I don't think it's going to be ready immediately, because first of all, this is EOS 2.0. We have not even migrated to EOS 1.8. 1.8 needs a kind of a hard fork, which means every block producer has to upgrade their software together and roll it out. It will be a coordinated effort from 21 block producers. After that, we can talk about EOS 2.0. So this will happen over time. So again, as I said, we have to be patient. The amount of changes which have been rolled out in EOS since launch in 1 year, that amount of changes have not been done in any other blockchain. Like Ethereum has been struggling for years and years, and they are talking about 2 or 3 years from now. So we need to be patient when we say when these things will be rolled out. I'm just excited that these things are being implemented, and some really great changes are coming. So you can look at the strategic vision updated on EOS.io. They talk about all the changes. They talk about IBC. A lot of people were asking why there was no update on IBC. So strategic vision includes IBC, and as Dan explained, the EOS VM is mandatory for IBC, because that introducing multi-threading, and multi-threading is important when you have like he's not looking at IBC for one more chain. He's looking at IBC for hundreds of chains, and that's why I think the whole discussion was around first introduce multi-threading, first scale. They're looking at like a 10-year roadmap, I believe, not just what will the blockchain and EOS look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, not like what we can achieve very fast. So it's a very, very methodical approach. I appreciate, as a like a technical person, I can appreciate all these things what they're doing. They are first defining dependencies, not like what, see, I'll tell you what are the other examples in crypto world. Ethereum is trying to do proof of stake. There are so many problems they are finding that they kept on getting delayed. Bitcoin is trying to do this layer 2 scaling with Lightning, and they are in a hurry, and there are a lot of issues being reported now, and it had hit so many hiccups. I have not seen that happening with EOS. Means that's why I love the technical team of Block.one, Dan Larimer, and all his people, that I've not seen this happening. Like they plan something, they roll out, and it usually works. Even if it doesn't work, they fix it very quickly, and it's upgraded on the fly. We had in August we had Rex planned, and it's right now we are earning this Rex reward already. Uh, this is last year August, and this was right from concept to deployment. It was so fast. So that is what we need to look at. It takes time. These are huge software which we are building frameworks, and the speed of innovation on EOS is already very, very fast. So I'm not very worried about when. I think it's a matter of just following it up and saying how it will go. All right. So what is the next question? There's a question about voice token. Assume you live in an area that allows it. Will user have ability to transfer voice tokens to an exchange and sell them for another token or fiat? I believe so. I think Brandon had mentioned in one of the Telegram messages that they are in fact looking at some jurisdictions where they can list voice token. They are looking at actually trying to enable withdrawals, and they've already said that unless their transfers will be enabled. And I again repeat what I said at the start of the video. I don't see why, if the transfer of the token is allowed, why the decentralized exchange cannot implement your kind of a trading on this token. uh, Block.one will not say that, oh, you can trade it and so on. And as I keep reminding you, they are trying to be legally compliant. They are not like your regular Tron and Binance kind of people. They are sitting in US, they are talking to White House, they are trying to be very, very properly, following the rules and regulations, so that people don't stop seeing EOS as a viable option for much bigger use cases. It's not a short term thing to just pump the price. They are saying, but again, the token, even the EOS was not allowed for US and China. And they had very clearly said that you cannot buy it if you're in these jurisdictions. And exchanges still listed them and people bought it. And China and US are perhaps the biggest token holders today of EOS when the mainnet was launched. So same thing for the voice, I think. But I do know that they're trying to, because now it's a KYC, so it becomes even easier for them to block people from transferring it out. But I think Brandon said that they're working towards even allowing withdrawals for people who live in those countries where there is a problem. And I think most of the countries don't even care. I've not seen anybody not allowing any utility token unless you're raising ICO. I think one of the biggest issue which goes away is when you're not raising money. Many countries don't even care if somebody's just giving something for free. Even from US perspective, I don't see why this should be an issue, because voice token is not an ICO. The only reason it can be an issue is because it is running on EOS mainnet and Block.one raised money on EOS. So it can be seen as, oh, giving some profits back to that and trying to justify it as a security. I think that's the only reason I can imagine why they are being careful. So that's where I think is the major thing. But overall, yes, I believe it will be withdrawable, transferable, and they are really confirming that they are working towards making it like a UBI. What else? Um, when Warren Buffett gonna pay to have lunch with B1? All right, it's a good comment. Now, I think that there is some fancy stuff being done in crypto world. As you know, Tron, Justin's son, has paid millions of dollars to have lunch with Warren Buffett. I think Warren Buffett is. I don't think he will ever understand crypto. Of course, he will not deny money for charity. If somebody is willing to throw money to meet him and to uh, pay his charity, he will gladly accept it. Anybody can bid for it. So I don't want Warren Buffett to know to understand this, because he's the one who never bought Apple and Amazon. Means he's a great guy from old times. He understands the money as we know 100 years back. He understands the industries as we knew 70 years back. He doesn't know understand. He has said it many times. He doesn't understand technology. He never invested in Apple, Amazon. Only recently, after such a huge valuation, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, his company is buying, and even then he'd say, "I don't agree with that." And it's his deputies who are trying to buy a sum of Amazon and Apple. So crypto is too far away from him. I don't think he will ever understand it. Moreover, it's a matter of his interests are aligned with the traditional banking, traditional insurance. Crypto and blockchain is designed to disrupt all of them. So I don't see why we should try to convince somebody like him to come to blockchain world and to come to crypto world. So I don't see any value in people trying to go that path. So, but I think that's my view. Of course, uh, you are trying to influence price, or if you want somebody like what is happening with Tron, people will do that just to get attention. All right, I think I covered most of the news. Any other questions, feel free to ask them. Will there be any airdrop? No, there is no airdrop for voice. As it was, if you have not watched the keynote, do watch the keynote on voice.com. It was very clearly explained by Block.one that it can only be mined It will never be airdropped, or you cannot buy it. There will not be any money raised for voice. It will start from zero and it will grow, and it will be burned whenever you are putting it back as investment for moving your comment on the top, or whatever you pay to the application, that will be burned. That's what Dan Larimer has clarified. So there is no plan for any airdrop from voice. All right, so I don't have any more questions, so feel free to ask questions on the chat. I don't want it to be too long for video for people who are watching it later, and I may be able to spend another 10 minutes. So let's talk about other things. As a summary, I think, as I said, voice is not the biggest thing for me, but it's the most promising thing for me coming out of Block.one in for longer term, and a huge potential. It is not something which I'm saying it has immediate impact, unless, of course, it goes viral, and there are a lot of reasons why it can go viral once it is a tuned product. But at this moment, what I'm learning is it's a beta product. It will go very slowly. KYC usually takes a long time. So let's look at it again when we start getting voice in our hands. I'm sure a lot of discussion will happen around that time. But as I said, the big news for me is Coinbase, because getting EOS to new people, to hundreds of countries, spreading the tokens, I think these are huge. Regulatory wise, Coinbase accepting EOS means a lot to the EOS investors, and Ubico for enterprise, because we are focused on enterprise as Blockstart. We are doing a lot of other work in with enterprises. For me, this is very big thing, where we are able to work and convince them of the security of blockchain without forcing them to go through wallets. And there can be integrated wallets in the back end now with this innovation. So really very important things, and all the technology updates which Block.one gave us. I think this is really amazing. So, and as I said, the Rex is going up, the RAM is going up. All these things are positive for EOS as an ecosystem. um, if we go back, you remember, like we talked about before, like all the speculation started, which were of course unreasonable. And I would say we wanted a wallet. There are already great wallets out there. Voice itself will be a wallet. Whenever the Voice app is launched, it is almost like a wallet, because it will allow you to authenticate with voice and so on. They already released authentication code for other wallets to integrate, to make it very easy for mobile integration as well as on desktop integration. And we have a social media which has a huge potential. We have some amazing clearance from regulatory, and the scaling, like 12x of the performance on EOS. This will have a huge impact on how we can scale the next generation of EOS dApps. Again, as I said, like, I will not be able to speak too much. I have been talking in, like, last few days when I was in DC and so on. And if you are regular to our channel, this is not my usual voice. So I will try to close very soon. Let me know if you have any other questions. One final thing, we did a video on Air Hodl. This is the liquid apps framework and the dApp network. So if you all of you who held your tokens in January, you received it. So do watch this video so that you can claim your tokens and stake to us. So Blockstart, we are an incubator in Silicon Valley. We are working with startups, and we have committed to run our DSP node for and give these services free for all the startups who are part of our incubator. So if you want to support us in this effort, do stake your tokens to us, which is Blockstart AC as a provider, and Blockpack 2. This will also help you to observe your tokens because the vesting happens over next 2 years. Again, as I said, watch this video. We have explained it in this. You can understand more details about that. So I just wanted to highlight that, and we are trying to work and bring EOS to much bigger apps. We are working with a lot of apps who are trying to bring millions of users, existing businesses, enterprises who are trying to integrate blockchain. And trust me, it is the very promising time for EOS. Don't look at short-term pricing. Don't look at these consumer apps. I think consumer apps are going to be definitely huge potential, but I think the biggest promise of blockchain today is in enterprise and in changing how people use the data in enterprises. And that's what I am excited about. And all the announcements and all the things which Block.one is doing, I'm more than satisfied. In fact, I'm very happy about what is happening. So we can discuss about it. If you want to know more about it, do reach out to us. If you have been investing in DApp token, then, and if you want to understand how you can use them, do let us know. We can also talk about that, because that's another big project I believe in. And I'm very excited about, like, because as we saw that Rex has solved the CPU and net issue, and the only thing remaining was RAM, which Liquid Apps is solving. And I'm very excited about that part. All right, so some other questions on voice shopping. I don't know what that means. The question itself, please clarify. Um, then you're talking about voice, the next virtual assistant. I don't know how the virtual assistant will be relevant here, but of course, all the apps can be built on top of it. This is just a platform to enable blockchain accounts, and I'm sure this, if they build it as a platform, just like Facebook started, they started integrating apps in within inside. There were games, and slowly they started groups and a lot of other interesting ideas. I think social is a very, very powerful platform, and you can always build all kind of application on top. Another question coming: what is the best YubiKey? So YubiKey, I think, is the latest one. Let me see. The latest one is YubiKey 5. What Block.one has used is YubiKey 5, which has NFC. The reason you want the NFC is, let me go to their web page and see what they have. So you are looking for YubiKey. Okay, it's asking me all the questions, so I'm not going to go through that. But basic idea is that you should look at YubiKey with NFC support. What that NFC means, that you can even sign transaction on your phone. So YubiKey, while it's a USB key, which looks like, as you can see here. So this, the last one which you are seeing, this particular key, it has NFC and a touch interface, so that you can use your fingerprint or something, and also it can work on your phone. So that is, I think, the latest and the best YubiKey, and Block.one is supporting that for EOS. So that's the answer. I hope I answered your question. Anything else, guys? So let me know. This is I think I'm ready to sign off now. I hope, again, as I said, like, don't look for pump and dump. EOS is a very, very, like, mature blockchain. I see the community is great. I like Block.one being very methodical, doing all the right steps, and it's for long term. It's for the long term success. We don't want any risks on how they promote this particular technologies. They are being very careful. Of course, there are always risks with any investment, and as investing with a difference, I never recommend any investment. Please take it as all the information as just for your understanding. So there's a disclaimer once again: if you're watching our videos, any of the previous videos, it's never an investment advice, and we do not we try to share our views and as we understand, rather than trying to convince you about something. That's something which you need to do your own research. All right, so we call it this is going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed all the discussions, and thanks for joining. I think quite a few people joined, even though we are doing this live session after 6 months. I think at one point I saw almost 45 people watching. So thanks a lot, and if you're watching it later, do leave your comments on what you think about all the thoughts we had on B1June. And again, happy birthday to everybody who's been with us on main EOS mainnet. We, of course, for us, we started in March last year, even before mainnet launch. But we have been going on with you on a journey of how this new technology is evolving, and it's one of the most exciting time of my life, at least. I think after what happened with the iPhones and Android and the mobile revolution, as we call it, Web 2.0, now I'm very excited about Web 3.0, which is the blockchain world. And the reason I like this EOS most is because they are thinking like that. Block.one is thinking like how to enable Web 3.0 with real applications, and not focusing on how to just quickly gain relevance and just the price of the token. And anyway, they are not related to EOS token price. They are only releasing EOS IO software, and community is great. Like the work community has done is amazing. So I'm more than satisfied, as I said. So do drop us a comment on what you think about all these details, and we will be very, very happy to take it up next time. Thank you. And as we will be back with more content to keep helping you. Bye bye.